Happy Sunday, and thanks for joining me. I'm Sarah, and this is Brown Family Goods. This week, our meal prep is about using what we've got. So I dove into the freezer and pulled out a variety of things. So we'll be making meals this week with salmon, steak, chicken, and pork chops. To keep things fresh, I'm going to whip up a batch of creamy Tzatziki sauce to top up any meal, and a tasty peach yogurt parfait for a grab-and-go breakfast. Let's get started on another week of healthy meals. Meal prepping is one of the best things you can do for yourself, and here's why. You're in complete control. You choose the ingredients, the portion sizes, and the nutritional value of every single meal. It saves you time and money. You'll spend less on takeout. You'll have more time during the week for other things that you want to do. It takes the guesswork out of healthy eating. You've already made the healthy choice for your entire week and done that work, making it easy to stay on track. The first thing I did this week was get all my meats prepped. So I pulled a bit of everything from the freezer, some salmon, chicken breast cutlets, thick cut boneless pork chops, and a couple of strip steaks that I had. I'm using a couple of my favorite go-to seasonings today. For the chicken and the salmon, I'm going to use a simple blackened seasoning. And for the steak and pork chops, I've got an all-purpose savory blend. It's called Dano's. That's what I used on those. I'm going to let those marinate in the fridge while we work on the vegetable sides. We'll start with our go-to roasted broccoli. It's a favorite and it's so easy to make. I just throw it into the oven at 425 degrees for 12 to 15 minutes. I also have the sweet potatoes roasting in the oven at this time. They take about an hour or an hour and 20 minutes to cook them. The carrots take a while to cook, so we better get those going. They took almost an hour on this day. So on the stovetop, I just put in some water and some chicken bouillon to give the carrots a little bit of extra flavor, and I get those boiling. For the green beans, I'm going to saute them in some bacon fat for a rich and savory taste. Just be careful not to overcook them, since we'll be reheating them throughout the week. I decided I needed an apron too at this point because I didn't want green beans and fat getting splattered on my top. You can add whatever seasonings you like to the green bean. On this day, I just added some salt and some pepper, and then I added a little bit of lemon juice towards the end of cooking to brighten up the flavor. I throw in a few ice cubes so that as they melt, the green beans will steam in the pan and just cook them through a little bit more quickly. Once all the vegetables are done cooking, I just set them to the back of my counter. That way they can cool down while I'm preparing all the rest of the things for our meal prep this week. With all the veggies cooked and set aside, it's time to mix up a sauce that'll add some bright, fresh flavor to any of these meals. I like Tzatziki sauce, Alan does not, so I'm making the recipe that has about 5 servings, and you'll find all of the recipe information as well as the nutritional content for each of these meal preps in the description box below. Tzatziki is so simple and it's really versatile. So it's got just a few ingredients and it comes together really quickly. That's why I wanted to add it to today's menu. So I use 2 of the small cups of low-fat yogurt, but you can always use full fat as well if you're not counting calories or watching that type of thing. It tastes great with either one, quite frankly. So I save the calories here and I just use low-fat Greek yogurt. This is a really simple sauce and it keeps most all of the week. I end up using it by about the 4th or 5th day because, like I said, it has about 5 servings. So I just put some on, my lunch or my dinner, and it really adds a little bit of extra flavor to any meal. Now we're going to move on to making these delicious protein peach yogurt parfaits. So the protein powder in these is completely optional. You do not have to add it if it's not something that you have on hand or want to add. This just adds a bit more protein to this. Now, yogurt's already a really high protein thing, so you don't need the extra protein if it's not something that you're looking to get. So today I'm using Too Good yogurt. Typically I use Oikos 000 vanilla yogurt, and that is a nice option as well. Either one of those will be completely fine in this recipe. I loved having these this week as a healthy treat. So the protein powder is optional. By the way, the yogurt is already a great source of protein on its own. So we're just mixing up a little bit of a spice blend that goes into the yogurt base as well as the peach topping. So it's just some cinnamon, nutmeg. I believe it had some ginger in there as well. The full recipe is in the description box below. And to the top of these, I'm going to add this Magic Spoon granola. If I could go back and do this again, I would not add the Magic Spoon granola to the top of the yogurt parfaits. I would just add it later because it did get a little bit soggy. I think that Magic Spoon has some puffed rice and things like that in it. So it did get a little bit soft, and it was probably better to just add it later whenever I went to eat the yogurt parfaits. To the pan, I just added a 14-ounce can of no sugar added peaches. You add the peaches and the juice as well, and then all you're going to do is heat that through with the spice blend that you have remaining after you've used half in the yogurt. And then I just use a potato masher to mash up the mixture. You can cook it and boil it until it thickens down a little bit if you like. I only boiled mine for about 5 minutes, and it did thicken up a bit in that time. So now this recipe makes 6 servings, and you can find the nutritional content for those servings down in the description box below as well. So I'm just portioning mine into these little 8-ounce jars that I have. They take a standard size lid, so I really like that. And then I just divide that peach topping among each of the jars as well. Now for the main event, it is time to cook up all this meat. So to save time, I'm back on the Blackstone and the grill today. I just add a little bit of oil to the grill grates before I put the meat on, and then I press it all down to get a really nice sear on those pieces of meat. On the grill, I have the steak and the pork chops cooking, and then on the Blackstone, I'll do the salmon and the chicken. The Blackstone gives a really nice and even sear, so it's really good for salmon especially, and the chicken cooks up great on there too. Just look at the grill marks that we got on the pork chops and the steak. Now we'll give everything a flip, and it only takes a few more minutes for everything to cook through. The steaks will come off first because they're much thinner than these thick cut pork chops that I have here today. So I just take a minute to move the pork chops up to the top grate of the grill, and I'll close the top maybe around 4 or 5 more minutes, and then I'll start to check the temperature on them to make sure that they get up to the temperature that I like. They're not quite there yet, so I'll give them just a couple more minutes, and then we'll pull them off and bring everything inside and let it cool down while we get prepared to make up these meals. Okay, we got everything cooked, and so I bring the meat inside and let it cool down. Before assembling the meal preps, I'll remove the skin from the salmon, and then I'm going to cut and slice up all of the other meat. Cutting up the meat makes it so much easier to eat throughout the week. Now I just get the scale out because I need to do a few things. I want to check the size of these sweet potatoes. I thought I might need to cut up some of the sweet potatoes in order to make the correct portion, but after I weighed them and checked the size, I'm just going to put 1 sweet potato into each container. They're all generally about the same size, from 3 to 5 ounces. So 1 sweet potato in each container is going to be just perfect. And I have exactly 8 sweet potatoes that I can use for these meals. I have the meats all sliced up, and that also helps me portion them out so that I can fit the right amount of meat into each container too. So I just portion them out and put them on a plate, and then I start to build the actual meal prep containers, adding in about a cup of green beans, about 4 or 5 ounces of meat, and then 1 sweet potato per container. And now we're on to the blackened chicken and blackened salmon. So for the salmon, I ended up only having 2 meals worth of salmon, even though I had 4 pieces of salmon, because I wanted 4 to 5 ounces of salmon in each container. So I just had 2 of those meals, and then the chicken, I ended up getting 8 of those meals. So 4 or 5 ounces of chicken as well. And then we're gonna add in about 1 cup of roasted broccoli and about 1 cup of the cooked carrots. And that's a wrap on this week's meal prep. I hope you found some inspiration for your own kitchen. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps my channel, and subscribe for more healthy meal prep ideas. And I'll see you back here again real soon.